Hi everyone, welcome back to Vicky's Life Diaries. This is episode 9, I believe. Today's video is a get ready with me, but a slightly hypocritical one. I am going to see Straykids live, finally, Hyde Park, VIP. And in today's get ready with me, I wanted to talk about the reasons why I'm falling out of love with K-pop. More specifically, the K-pop community, but K-pop in general. So let's get on with it. Good morning, everyone. I am washed, dressed, my hair is done, I am shaved. We are gonna go see Straykids today. I paid £300 for VIP. You best believe I will be looking glitz glammed up. Today I figured that instead of talking about everything that goes on in my skincare routine, which I've explained like countless times in other videos before, I would talk about why I'm not exactly in love with K-pop anymore. I get how hypocritical that can be, seeing as I am about to go see Straykids VIP, and in this video I'll be talking about how much I don't like K-pop, but I feel like this isn't just like a maturity phase. This is more the issues that I've noticed arising in K-pop, and if no one else is going to talk about it, then I will. I've done all of my skin prep last night, so I did a whole sheet mask and everything else. But, you know, today is very simple skincare, simple makeup. I think one of the main reasons that I've fallen out of like love with K-pop is the sort of fan base etiquette. Like, it's getting a little bit crazy. Like 2020 level crazy, when everyone was going like, oh, I want to marry Bakugo from My Hero Academia. Oh, you know, Bang-chan's gonna be my husband. Oh, call me cat self, dog self. That is craziness. And I personally am not a fan of that type of crazy. And I feel like a lot of people have matured, especially those who grew up with Gen 3, Gen 4 sort of music. But I feel like now that Gen 5 is coming out, we're starting to see that sort of craziness come back again. I am not a fan of all of that crazy, you know, oh, they're gonna marry me, oh, you know, they can't date anyone except for their fans because they're loyal to their fans. Baby girl, please, let's tone it down. And like, if my bias from wherever, so BTS, my bias is Yoongi or Suga, if he was to go around dating someone, I would be happy for him. He's a grown man. There is no doubt he's already got a girlfriend. Let's be honest, Chen from EXO getting married and having that scandal wasn't such a big deal. Bro is a grown man trying to live his life. Like, he dedicated so much of his life to fan service, to being in a K-pop group, and people are like, oh no, now you can't date. Bro came out with a wife and kids. Please, move on with your life. Calling for him to be removed from the group, not on. And the thing is, I think that a lot of this craziness, especially around idols' private lives, needs to stop. Because tell me why Karina and Ijewook, both grown people in their 20s, are breaking up because of the amount of hate that they received just from dating. Like, that is not on. They were grown people. To be honest, I don't believe that they were actually broken up. I just think they said that to keep everyone quiet. Because why are you dictating what they should be able to do with their lives? It makes no sense. And it's getting to a point where this fan craziness and the obsessiveness is kind of impacting idols themselves. Like, imagine having to write an apology for wearing your manager's shoes. Like, this came out, what, this morning, yesterday? Red Velvet, I think Sulgi was it? She had to issue an apology for wearing her manager's shoes. The craziness of it all. And like, I get, you know, they have super high standards to maintain. Miss Girl has blisters from dancing 24/7, you know, from a hectic, bloody schedule, and you're mad at her because she has blisters and her manager offered her to trade shoes. That's something I would do as well. Let's be so for real. If my best friend was in pain, like, girlie, trade shoes with me. You might not fit into my shoes. I have obnoxiously small feet. however trade shoes with me. I would understand if, you know, the shoes were given by like the president of Korea, or, you know, or they were like lost relics from the Joseon dynasty. A pair of high heels being traded out for a pair of trainers is not the end of the world. I would do the same thing. And it's this type of craziness that drives me insane, because how are you complaining over people dating, over grown people dating, and people changing their shoes, when you've got Burning Sun scandal offenders trying to get back into the industry? Make it make sense. If you don't know what the Burning Sun scandal is, there is a really good documentary on the BBC. I recommend you go watch that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of what happened on here on the channel, because I don't want YouTube to take me down. I like my little channel, it's cute. The whole fandom craziness and the fact that there's scandals, I use the word scandals very lightly because they're typically called dating scandals, or, you know, the shoe scandal was Solgi, but they're not actually scandals. Scandal is the Burning Sun scandal. That is on relation to Jeffrey Epstein type of scandal. That is on the same level as Jeffrey Epstein, if not worse. However, dating scandals, when they're grown men and grown women, that's not a scandal. That's them just living their life. Trading shoes with your manager, not a scandal. Like, at all. That is not a scandal. What is a scandal is the hype, adore, Illit, Minheejin, New Jeans, that type. That was a scandal. That is a scandal. Dating someone is not a scandal. And I think that K-pop fans are so twisted when it comes to their idols' personal lives that it's actually driving me insane. Since we're on the topic of scandals, I think that what should be a scandal is the fact that they're debuting children. And I'm talking like these kids are training from the ages of 9 upwards, haven't even developed a brain, they haven't even developed enough skills to be able to do math, science, Korean, English, etc. And they're training for up to 5 years and they're debuting at the age of 13 when they haven't even hit puberty. That is a scandal. That should be a scandal. And it's not a scandal. Why? And like, you can tell me, oh, you know, Gen 2 had the same thing, Taemin debuted at 14. Yeah, but if you look at the rest of their ages, they were significantly older. I'm looking at Gen 5 girlies now, Illit. Why are they so much younger than me? Now, fair enough, I'm 20. I was born in 2004. I am what they would consider old. And yet, tell me why I've got these 13-year-olds dancing everywhere, like on my For You page, on TikTok, etc., like YouTube, Inkigayo, whatever you want to call it, and you've got grown men lusting after them. And I'm talking 35, 40, 50-year-old men lusting, not, you know, liking, lusting 13 to 16-year-old girls. Is that not a scandal? Should we not evaluate that? Should we not reevaluate our choices here? Oh, and it gets worse, because these are the same girls at 13 and 14 who are going to be subjected to so much hate. Do you know why? Because they cannot fucking sing. They cannot sing, they cannot dance. All they have to go on is quote unquote good looks. Telling me a 13-year-old looks good but cannot do the job that you hired her to do. You hired her to be an idol, which means looking good, singing, and dancing, and she can only do one of those. Make it make sense. And it's not just the girl groups. I'm giving a lot of hate towards girl groups because the main issue I have is Illit. New Jeans was a little bit of a stretch. Le Seraphim, again, little bit of a stretch. But Illit, they were too young, and they've gotten so much hate since their performances, since their encore videos, because they cannot sing. And fair enough, you'd be like, oh, they're just singing out of their range. No, they're just too young for the job. I think it's time that all of us said that. They are too young for the job. You can go, oh yeah, well, you know, it's always been a theme within K-pop to debut, like, younger women. Kiss of Life? I think there should be a new rule in K-pop, which is if you're not old enough to do a sexy concept like Kiss of Life, you should not be debuting. And this goes for boy groups too, because, let's be honest, we don't talk about the age of boy groups enough. What, in Hypen, Nicki was 15, 16 when he debuted? Still a bit on the young side, not as young as 13, 14, but still, you know, young. And people would be like, oh, what about Wonyoung, you know? She's been in the public eye since she was like 13. She was on Produce 101 at 13. Great. Do you not see the woman that she is now? Yes, she's been in the public eye since she's been 13. Yes, that is also incredibly concerning. However, we as the consumers have a sort of duty to stop that, do we not? She was too young, 1. 2, have you not seen how skinny and frail she is? This is no body shaming to Wonyoung. You know, she is the 4th gen it princess, it girl, whatever label you want to call her. But realistically, that ain't healthy, and we can all see it. And you'll be like, oh, you know, it's healthy for her body type because she's so tall. Actually be so fucking for real. And like, I've got no issue with, you know, idols being healthy. I've got no issue with idols being healthy. But when, you know, they're praising Wonhee at 13 for having a healthy body, no, she's a child. No, she is a child. She has baby fat. That's not me calling her fucking obese. That's me saying she is a child. She hasn't even hit puberty. And you're calling her healthy. She is healthy. She's supposed to be healthy. All of them are supposed to be healthy. They're promoting unrealistic beauty standards, which is another conversation for another day. But even then, like, you have to admit, being in the public eye from such a young age is going to put them in so much mental distress. Fair enough, I'm the one saying it. Fair enough, K-netizens and netizens all around the world can be saying this. You have grown up men and women, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s even, running these companies. Do they really think it's a good idea to put a child in the public eye? You may be thinking, oh, but what about child actors? Yes, child actors have a very difficult job. Let's not lie, acting is a difficult job. All jobs are difficult to different people. It is all relative. It is all relative at the end of the day. However, if you're telling me that a child actor who has maybe 12 lines in the entire episode is more hardworking than a girl who is dancing for 8 hours a day on an incredibly harsh diet, and on top of that doing promotion after promotion after promotion, getting maybe 2-3 hours of sleep, sleeping where they can, you're telling me the girl who has 12 lines in an episode is working so hard? It is all relative at the end of the day, but people need to remember these are children. These are literal children. And I cannot like Kpop anymore when I feel it's getting dangerous for the children involved. And you're thinking, oh, but you know, they've got safeguarding in place. I'm sure they're safe, you know, they're with companies. Luna, SM Entertainment, YG, none of the companies are safe. Be so for real. Be so for real. No company is actually safe. And people will be like, oh, you know, they're children, but they're with big companies, so they'll be safe. Illit and Adore. I'm gonna just leave that one. That was a massive fuck off scandal. If you don't know what it is, I suggest you go read up on it. I'm not about to spend the rest of my time doing my makeup and explaining it. However, that should say all that really needs to be said. And let's not lie, you know, we can talk about the safeguarding of children all we want and being like, oh, they're too young to debut, which they are. My issue is, okay, you want to debut children? You debut children. That's a lawsuit that is coming your way later. But if you're debuting them, why don't you make sure they're good first? Actually, why don't you make sure that they can do the job that you're paying them to do? Because you can look at Illit and Le Sserafim and be like, oh, they're just too young. Le Sserafim at Coachella, let's not lie, that was messy. They just proved that they cannot sing live. No hate to the girls, and they got so much hate for that. And I'm not condoning hate at any point in time. I think there's a lot of times where people can improve, and the Seraphim have shown that they have improved, especially in their more recent performances. However, when you're debuting children, it comes with a risk. Not only a risk of a fucking lawsuit, not only that risk, but also a risk of they may not be able to do the job that you require them to do. And I think companies are forgetting that. Like, you're telling me a 13-year-old is able to sing Aeon's I Envy You perfectly without straining their vocal cords. That's going to damage them 5 years in the future, and in 5 years you'll just have to get rid of them and say it was an accident. You know, they need to quit the group for their mental health. Either you look after your children and ensure that they can do the job that they're supposed to be doing, or don't debut them, like, at all. It's getting to a point where it's quite literally ridiculous. And I'm not talking ridiculous in the, oh, you know, they'll improve at one point or another. The thing is, fair enough, you can slip up and you can make mistakes. You know, they are only human, and fair enough, they are very young humans at that. Let's not forget that. But when they are freshly debuted after having X amount of years of training, do you not think they should be able to at least perform to a decent standard? I'm talking like they are just stood there, you know, singing Magnetic, and why are they pitchy? Did you not train them? And no hate, and I'm not hating on them, I'm hating the way that they're managed. Because you're telling me a 14-year-old is in the public eye and receiving this amount of hate. Because let's be honest, if you've seen the hate going towards the Elite girls for their performances, it's not on, like, at all. And I can understand why fans are mad, because they've had X amount of years of training, they're supposed to be, you know, ready to debut, but they're clearly not, and they're children. I feel like I'm repeating "and their children" a lot, but it's an important point because they are just too young to be doing the job anyway. But that being said, when you debut someone, they should be ready. And they should be ready to deal with everything that comes with it. That includes being able to sing on stage. And when they have a voice crack, you know, or they swap shoes with their manager and cause a scandal, they should be able to deal with the hate that comes their way. You're telling me a 14-year-old has the brain capacity to deal with that amount of hate? Are you crazy? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you what? I think it's very difficult for me to stay a K-pop stan when there's so many things wrong in K-pop. You're debuting minors. Scandals aren't really scandals, but when a massive scandal comes out, it's hush hush. K-pop in general just has a bad reputation. We are known for having crazy fans, and yet shit like this keeps happening. Do I really want to stay a part of that, like, well into my 20s? Not ideally, no. And I'm not saying, you know, like, third and fourth generation, the generations that I'm a fan of, you know, have anything wrong with them. Like, let's be honest, Blackpink have so many scandals that is actually atrocious. The fact that they were under YG, and since they've left YG, they've produced more music than they have in 7 years under their company. That is a scandal. That needs to be investigated in, because why are they producing more music in a year than they have in 7 years under a company? Like, that's something to look into. But you're telling me Chen from EXO nearly got kicked out because he has a wife and kids? Get over yourself. And, like, fair enough, K-pop already has a bad reputation. I don't mind, you know, a couple of crazy fans. But when we're getting back to the level of 2020, no. There's no doubt that third and fourth generation K-pop have its issues. And I think one of the main issues is the difference in the treatment between men and women. Like, you're telling me it's okay for Jungkook of BTS to go and get tattoos, but when a woman has tattoos, it's taboo. And, you know, no hate towards Jungkook. Love BTS, I've seen them live. But why is it okay for him to get tattoos, but when a woman gets a tattoo, it's frowned upon? And this boy has a whole sleeve, and fair enough, he's in his, like, I don't give a fuck era. The treatment of boy groups and girl groups is so vastly different. Take, for example, when Jake from ENHYPEN used a cut from Starbucks. He got a little bit of hate for that, issued an apology right away. Blah 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 blah. Yoonjin from Le Seraphim, she used a Starbucks cup. The hate was never ending. Fair enough, she didn't issue an apology straight away. But regardless of whether she did or did not, it doesn't take a genius to see that, you know, it's a very stark difference. And actually, it doesn't even have to go as far as a Starbucks cup. It can go literally being at music awards. But I remember there was this one thread on Twitter back in like 2019, 2018 of, you know, I think it was a girl group performing. I can't remember what girl group was performing. And, you know, as usual, the camera pans over to, you know, the members of the audience, and it was a boy group. And, you know, they're smiling, they're dancing, and then they go straight-faced because, you know, they've been caught and they don't want to be caught being happy. And the comments were like, oh, OMG, you know, it's so funny, he just doesn't want to get caught in a dating scandal. But then there was a video underneath when it's a boy group performing and the girls are straight-faced because, you know, they're always being watched. They can't be happy for this group. Oh, they just look so upset by this group, and this group are doing amazing. Oh, the girls don't deserve to be there. I'm sorry, what? So when a couple of men are looking at a girl group and they're smiling and then they're going straight-faced, it's funny. But when a girl group are just straight-faced because they know they're being watched 24/7, suddenly it's an issue. Make it make sense. Actually, make it make sense. There are a lot of issues in K-pop that have slowly driven me very away from the K-pop community. That doesn't mean to say, OMG, I hate K-pop. No, that means I no longer want to be associated with the K-pop community. There are so many issues within the K-pop community that I cannot bring myself to say, oh, you know, I actually really like K-pop, I've got a lot of K-pop friends. No, I can't bring myself to say that. I've drawn little stars under my eyes because I'm going to see Straykids and my favourite album currently is 5 Star. I don't think I can actively be a member of the K-pop community simply because there's just too much wrong in K-pop. From scandals not being actual scandals to debuting literal children. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm going to stop listening to K-pop, I'm going to stop going to concerts. No, I still do love K-pop. But the community is so twisted, and not in a good way, that I don't think I can actively say, hey, I like K-pop, without getting a lot of weird looks. Without putting a massive disclaimer saying, oh, I like the music, but there are a lot of things wrong with the K-pop community itself. I don't think I'm necessarily proud to say I'm a K-pop stan, simply because it's too much. It's too much. And don't get me wrong, I think I will always like K-pop. There are a couple of really good groups, simply because I do enjoy the music. However, you are batshit crazy to think I actually enjoy the K-pop community. And some members are okay. I've been to concerts and I've made lifelong friends through K-pop concerts. I'm also not about to say that the K-pop community is sunshine, daisies and rainbows. It's not. It is not sunshine, daisies and rainbows at all. And I think people forget that. And I think a lot of people don't want to say it, which is why I'll say it. But anyway, this is the makeup for Straykids. I'm very happy with it. So this is the final makeup look. I have my nails all done. I've got Straykids written on this one, and I've got a cat on this one. I was gonna get Bang Chan's little snail thing, but it didn't really work out in the way I envisioned, so we went for a cat instead. Done by the bestest nail tech ever. And this is the outfit. I am wearing tights with my shorts because the UK weather has not been weathering right. It is July. Why is it still cold? But yeah, this is the outfit, and yeah. I've said a lot of things in this video that you may or may not agree with. I'm always open to debating. But yeah, I think that's it for Vicky's Life Diaries. This has been an interesting get ready with me for once. So yeah, I will see you in the next video.